Creating the modern state, how AI will influence and shape states in the 21st century. Now, some people hate politics, some people don't care about politics, and some people like me absolutely love politics. An important part of politics are states. And states are a very strange creation. If you think about it, we give our power, we hand it over to states without even thinking about it, without even actually realizing it. If you think about it, you can just get arrested and be thrown to jail in the name of upholding justice. You have to pay your taxes, even if you don't want to. You have to pay your fines, even if you don't want to. But what is a state? According to the International Convention of Montevideo, a state needs to have 4 elements. 1, a permanent population. 2, a defined territory. C, government. D, the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Let's look at another definition of the state by Pierre Legendre, who is a French historian. Pierre Legendre says, a state is an institution that has the legitimacy to define the law and forbid certain actions. So states make us do the things that we don't want to do, or do the things that we kind of want to do but are not obliged to. They force laws upon us. This is my favorite definition of a state by Eric Vail, who's also a French philosopher. A state is an organization through which a historical community becomes capable of making decisions. Historical community becomes, it's a process, capable of making decisions. What does that mean? It means that states exist only when they act. They exist only when they have an impact on people's lives. Let's look at some stages of states, the creation of states in Europe, before looking at AI and how AI has changed all of that. We have a first stage, which is the Middle Ages. So Theodosius, the fall of the Roman Empire, and the division of the empire of Charlemagne between his sons. Second, 16th to 18th century. You all know Louis XIV, I'm from France. He is the definition of the state in the 16th and 17th century. But after him, we had the revolutions, the French Revolution and the American Revolution, who redefined what it means to have a state. A state can only exist if people agree with its existence. And there we go, the third step. The third step is the tech revolution. The tech revolution has completely changed the way we live, the way we live our daily lives, the way we work, the way we stay in touch with people, the way we think about what it is to be a person and a human being. The tech revolution, and more specifically, the AI revolution, has completely changed states. But it turns out, even if it gives some specific challenges, political and social challenges that we're going to look at in a couple of seconds to states, in reality, if states can channel the AI wave and make it work for them to retrieve a political purpose for the common good, then AI can become the next big revolution that states need. So AI influences and challenges states in their core purpose and mission. First, by questioning core social and political foundations. When I talk about how AI changed the lives of people, you all noticed it. Everything has been different ever since AI became sort of mainstream. It became so easy to use AI, to manipulate AI by everybody. And when we talk about the impact of a specific tool, a technology, on people, it is also an impact on states. Why? Because states ultimately manage the everyday lives of people. First, in truth, you've probably seen 1 or 2 deepfakes this year or last year. this is a year of elections. We've had a lot of deepfakes to deal with in our work. Two interesting data to look at. First, there has been a surge of deepfake videos made in the past between 2019 and 2023. 550% according to data. According to Reuters, there has been 500,000 voice and video deepfakes shared in 2023. That data in itself is huge. The problem is that when we start questioning truth, because it is almost impossible to tell right from wrong because of how sophisticated the AI has become, then it questions the entire social foundation that we've built. If we can't even agree on if this is blue or red or black or a chair or something else, it's going to be very hard to agree on policy making and on the future of the collectivity that we live in. Truth and questioning of truth also obviously has an impact on politics. Politics and states are supposed to uphold truth. The traditional state is the state that was protecting the truth that a city or a country or a civilization was built upon. And now, what we see is that without truth, or at least with truth that is endangered by deepfakes or by elements that are not truthful, we get to trust, and more specifically, to lack of trust. Before getting to this very interesting chart, I want to talk about trust in the political sphere, and then trust in the social sphere. You know how politics has been at the center of talks around trust. A lot of people don't trust their politicians, their representatives, they don't trust their leaders, they don't trust the media, they don't trust experts. And this is not due to AI. It doesn't start with AI. If you look at the chart here you have public trust in government since the 1950s, 1960s, from Eisenhower to Biden. Look at this chart. Look at how much trust we have lost in our constituents, in our governments. So like I said, this has very specific and very complex political and social reasons, and it's not solely due to technology or to AI, but it is part of it. Technology and AI are also sort of helping go towards lower trends when it comes to trust. AI, and this also is an important challenge for the state, brings a social earthquake. In terms of jobs, a lot of people are afraid of losing their jobs to AI. And according to a lot of data and a lot of research, up to 30% of tasks in something around 60% of jobs are going to be able to be replaced with AI. But the most interesting part, the most interesting fact is that people are afraid to be replaced by AI. And if you look at the data here again, 72% of people in the EU are afraid that the AI will steal their jobs. What does that mean? States are supposed to protect. They're supposed to protect people. They're also supposed to help them get protection and keep their jobs. So this is, in terms of jobs, identity, property, this is a total challenge, and that's why I talk about a social earthquake. AI is entirely questioning the very social and political foundations of states. And I'm not even mentioning other social components such as education or just everyday work and work, the work style that we have and the way we work and how it has been changed by AI. So AI challenges the core political and social foundations, but it also challenges states in two very interesting ways. One, legislation and policy making. Should AI be able to participate to legislation? Should AI be able to participate to policy making? So maybe you've heard about it in the US, you already have a couple of laws that were introduced with AI. In 2023, there was a representative in the LA County, Representative Liu, who created a bill, a federal bill, that was made with AI. So most of that has been this far only stunt, only just a way to show the dangers and the potentials of AI. But imagine if in a couple of years, legislators start accepting contributions from AI. Can AI really become an independent contributor? It seems like a simple question, but think about it. Our states, our modern states, are built on democratic legitimacy. You vote, and people are elected, and they make decisions. So it means they have the right. They have legitimacy to be part of the electoral process and of the legislative process. But if an AI starts giving its opinions, and if an AI starts officially being a contributor to the legislative or the policy-making process, where is its legitimacy? It's not even a person. So this is an interesting question. In a couple of years, maybe here again, we'll have AI that will be able to just be a part of the public policy making process or the legislative making process. A second challenge of AI on states, campaigns and elections. So you've heard about it a lot this year because you have a lot of people who are holding elections, important elections this year. Campaigns have been totally changed by AI. The first point I'd like to make is that even if we don't talk about the deepfakes that I talked about earlier, can we let politicians and public leaders running for office, can we let them freely use AI? I'm going to give two examples. The first example is from the EU elections. So in France, there was a candidate who is from the Green Party who figured that to attract more attention, she was going on her posters and communications to use AI to change her appearance. So some people were happy with it, some people were unhappy with it, but she was technically deceiving the electorate to show someone who wasn't her. There is another example. Marine Le Pen, the far-right movement, had really good numbers at the European elections. And now it also turns out that there were a lot of AI-generated people who were supposedly from her family, who were defending the same ideas as her, and who started to flood TikTok. You had, for example, her niece, her AI niece, who's Amandine Le Pen, who doesn't exist, but who was able to completely influence online speech and the online debate during the elections. So this is a very, very important question. Can AI be just freely used during elections? Or if it deceives the public, even if it's too obvious, can we let that happen? Maybe in 30 years or in 50 years, we're going to have people who run on elections just with the AI, with the AI-made posters, AI-made ads, AI-made speeches. And this brings me to an important topic. An entirely AI-powered campaign, is it possible? Is it something that we can get in a couple of years? Is it, in a democratic society, good to have an entire campaign that is entirely reliant on AI? It means that everything that is built is only built to achieve efficiency and to win the campaign. It's not specifically made to encourage people to vote. It's not specifically made to encourage a specific personality to get elected. But here again, AI has changed a lot of the definition, a big part of the definition of what it means to be a state, and it will keep doing it. But it also can help and is helping strengthen and chart a new path forward for states. How? There are many ways today AI is used by states. It is used, for example, to track down, to analyze large amounts of data online, to track down harassment, online harassment, and specifically harassment that is targeted towards teenagers and children. AI is also used today to have safer streets, to have a safer traffic, and to protect cyclists and pedestrians. AI is also used for safety purposes. Today, in some countries, you can have access to an AI chatbot. And that AI chatbot can register all of your comments, all of the information that you want to share with your constituents. And you can, all of that information, you can get it directly to the right service, to the right government service, the right state service. AI today is also helping some states give a better access to people's rights. So for example, if you have unemployment benefits, healthcare benefits, you have AI chatbots that are used so that people can directly ask for what they have the right to get from the state and get it. In many ways, like I said, AI is capable already, but even more so, to chart a new path forward. States, if you have to think about them again and again, they are machines. They're those gigantic machines. And gigantic machines are not really good at three things. First, at efficiency. And this is something that particularly AI can help with. Efficiency is extremely important. You are paying tax money every year so that public service and services from the state are efficient. Delivering in politics and in the state, at the state level, is not an option. That is why we give our power, we hand over our power to the state, because we expect it to deliver and to provide us with good, efficient public services. AI can help states become more efficient. For example, by even before spending a single penny, measuring the impact of public policy and making sure that it is fully efficient and it has a positive impact on the ground, the intended impact. AI can also be used to determine what are the needs on the ground, the practical needs with, for example, AI sensors, but also the needs from the people. What are people expecting from you? And analyzing that data is made extremely easy with AI. AI, in terms of efficiency, can also be used to make sure that we better measure public policy. Think about it. There's so much waste that is made every year because we don't have the sort of culture to properly measure public policy and its impact on the ground. The second thing that AI can help with is accountability and transparency. This is about trust. Whichever political system we're talking about, trust is extremely important. Trust, accountability, and transparency is saying, this is what we've done this far, and this is the impact. This is what we haven't done, and this is why we haven't done it. It is mutual trust. And it all throughout history, the most important thing that keeps political systems up is the ability for citizens to trust the people who govern them. And in terms of accountability and transparency, there are many ways that AI can help. But most specifically, AI can help better analyze public spending. For example, currently in France, we have a new government, and the goal of this new government is less spending because we have a huge debt, which is the case for a lot of countries in Europe. So AI can help have a better analysis of public spending and make sure that each money that is spent in each department is spent properly. And finally, innovation. We don't think about innovation when we think about states, because states are just like, here again, huge monsters. It's very hard for a monster to be flexible. But I believe that innovation is extremely important for states. And if you think about it, it is quite a paradox that states are not innovative. If you want to be stable, if you want to stay on the long run, and you can't adapt, that's just craziness. Because the world is moving, the world is always adapting, so if you want to keep your strength, you always have to move forward as well. So, moving to a very quick conclusion. What we've said this far is that AI has completely changed human societies, will keep changing human societies, and that specifically it has changed and challenged the political and social core foundations that we've built. State comes from Latin, stare, which is the thing that stands tall. States are an extraordinary invention that helps us stand tall through time. And it is extraordinary because we're mortals. We're beings that are supposed to have an end, and states are not supposed to have an end, at least not before a couple of centuries at least. So there's this quote, actually, by Pierre Legendre here again, who said that states risk becoming empty shells. In order to avoid for states to become those empty shells, maybe AI in the 21st century can be the solution that is going to help states not become those empty shells. And as he says here, today we have headless states, huge instruments that function on their inertia, whose governments try to reduce the moment of inertia, but which have lost their articulation with a political project. So here again, maybe, just maybe, AI is going to be this little revolution that is going to help states go from empty shells to those huge, innovative titans that have strong and bold political projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ziane, for explaining the impact of AI on governments and also the use this has for us as the public. Well, actually running out of time, so we need to continue to the next session. It's a panel session, a panel discussion.
We have questions.
Okay, it's time? Okay, sure. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. Yes.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm currently an AI trainee working for an inter-province, so different provinces within the Netherlands project on implementing AI. What you were saying about accountability, I think is very true, that AI could make them more accountable, but that also makes the policymakers more vulnerable because they can be held more accountable. Who do you think should take the lead in implementing AI within the government if it also makes them more vulnerable?
Thank you. It's a good question. So I don't think I need this, do I? No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's a good question. So I was personally trained by one of my first mentors is a politician who has been in politics for 50 years, and he worked for Jacques Chirac. Some of you maybe know him. Yeah, former president of France. And it's absolutely the political generation that did terrible things, you know, we all know it today, but that had a very big sense of serving, like of the common good. And he is the one who told me, you know, Hind, in politics, you should always be transparent, which was quite a surprise for me because, yeah, I mean, it's the generation, the 80s, 90s, who had a very strange relationship to public money. And I think he's right. I think he's right. Politics, no matter who you are, should always be transparent. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, people are going to know about it. So you might as well be very clear about what the purpose is. And the thing is, when I talk about transparency, I'm not saying that you should always be scoring 10 out of 10. Like I said in my presentation, it's okay to say that you weren't able to do some things. It's okay, you just have to explain it. One of our tech tools is actually a reporting tool. So we actually create reports that are shared with citizens and constituents. And in those reports, we encourage people to say, we had shortcomings, like we weren't able to do those things and those things. And at the beginning, it's difficult because we're changing cultures. But it's also sort of a statement to say what politics is. Politics is not perfection, and otherwise we just let the AI make all the decisions. But it is a very subtle human art. And so it's okay to make mistakes. You just have to explain them and do better the next time. So in my opinion, yes, transparency is more than just, you know, a luxury. It's something that it's a must in every political department.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question about how can the states achieve this innovation and independence. I have the impression that a lot of the expertise needed today is brought by for-profit corporations. I myself work for one, and this brings bias in the perspectives that are brought. We can see the American state being consoled by Sam Altman mostly, We can see the French state being controlled by the technology makers in France. So how do you think the states can build expertise in-house to be more autonomous in reaching the goals that you rightfully outline?
Thank you. So I think we need to walk on two legs for this part. We need stronger, more independent, more innovative public services. And I think in France it is difficult, but it's the kind of revolution that we need to get to. Because if you have a country that has a lot of issues attracting its youth and its talents in the public sector, it means the public sector has something going that's not, working so well. So that's the first point for me, is that we need to change cultures. We need actually leadership that is going to say, okay, we're going to go from this basic public service, minimum service, to results-driven service. And why? Because it's public money. We are supposed to be results-driven because that's the money that everyone is paying. That's like the kind of bare minimum that we can do just to respect citizens and the money they're paying the state. That's my first point. The second point is that we also need stronger partnerships with the private sector. And I'm not necessarily only talking about the big companies. I'm talking about small startups, small companies that find it very hard to work with the public today. And I know something about it because we are one of those companies, So we both need to have a change in culture, like a more results-driven culture in the public service, and also a better startup ecosystem that is dedicated to public services. I think it should be a priority for policymakers.
Thank you, Zind. Please give a welcome of applause. All right.